Hey, buddy, how are you? This is Jeff Fisted. I'm the idiot up on stage for the Hot Rod Power Tour. You're listening to Every Car Has a Story with Joe Pep and Dusty. These guys are good.
Here come the Dodge boys,
Go get 'em, good guys.
saddling up for a drive.
Don't let them varmints get away.
This posse of dealers is the greatest alive. See the Dodge boys now for a new kind of deal.
Bolero's the all-new Dodge you won't forget. Bolder, plusher, and sharper than any car yet. Move out of the low-price field. Do it today. The Dodge Boys deal on Bolero is the easy way.
Join the Dodge Rebellion.
During Operation
Go
67,
riding, Dodge boys, head 'em off at the pass. With your good guy dealing, you're catching up fast. They just can't beat
your days are numbered, fellas.
the Dodge boys deal.
Looks like a showdown. Meet the guys who brought savings back. You can tell 'em by their white hats.
And good afternoon. You're listening to Every Car Has a Story. Hi, I'm Joe Pep, host of Every Car Has a Story, and with me is my trusty sidekick, the man who says, Shoebox Ford, I'll take a pair in size 13 wide. How you doing today, Dusty?
That's a great introduction.
You like
Absolutely.
it?
Yeah, I love that. Was really, really, really well done. Listen, Dodge commercials, I love that. Dodge Polaris. That kind of brings up the story about how they selected names for cars. I'm not sure what a Polaris is. Maybe it's a Star or something, but it's a great name.
Well,
And
star or a sub.
Well, no. They named it after a submarine. No, I think they named the submarine after the car, Polaris. I think it was vice versa. Anyhow, the music in the background was great. That was kind of taken from, remember the movie The Good, Bad, and the Ugly?
Yes,
Okay, you remember that.
I remember that.
And so I think that the Dodge Boys with the white hats, I think they were trying to promote some kind of a Western theme of Good, Bad, and the Ugly. What do you think, Joe? It sounded a lot like it.
Well, it was a great cartoon. I remember it as a kid, and so that came out in '69. So I was 15. So, you know, it's
That was Clint Eastwood, and remember the movie?
Good, Bad, yes,
Yeah.
yes, yeah, and Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
Well, that whole series. So I always liked that they had the Dodge Girl. Remember the Dodge Girl?
Dodge Girls.
Joan Montana married one of the Dodge Girls.
That's right.
I married one, as a matter of fact.
That's right.
Yeah,
she's
very, very lovely.
she's doing the Pepsodent commercial today, but hey, we got a great show.
Yeah.
We have Kayla Rain Dancer. She's going to be doing a 5-minute weekly.
Oh, great.
And it's going to be the Zen. Let me read this here. Where is my notes? Kayla's in search of classic cars with Zen.
Wow.
And she's going to start off with all 13 of her cars that she has.
She's got 13 cars.
Right? And she's going to be telling us about her new, she's launching her new quarter car.
Yeah, I want to talk about that.
And then we have Jesse, Angel's Garage is going to be on. And then we have the ever lovable Ted Odell and the Hackett Auto Museum in Jackson, Michigan. So
All
he'll be
right.
telling everything. So Kayla will be on in a couple of minutes. And I told her, I says, we have a nice trailer for her, full of sandwiches and finger foods. And but she had to share the trailer with the crazed plate jugglers of Yugoslavia.
Oh.
So, you know,
There you go.
stay tuned, folks. It's going to be a great show.
Well, I got good news and bad news today. It appears that our automobiles are now more computer than automobiles, and they are now following you. They know how much you weigh, Joe. That's kind of scary, isn't it?
Oh,
They know
great.
which restaurants you attend.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
They know what music you listen to,
Yeah.
and they know where you go. So I tell you what, even my mother didn't know all that stuff. This is getting kind of scary, and we talked about not too long ago. They're going to have little cameras in there, so you got to be well behaved all the way around. This is getting kind of Big Brother stuff.
I think,
you know?
you know what? It's, I believe, go out and get an old car. It has none of that junk in it.
Yeah.
And, you know, the thing is that it's too much information. You go out, you know, it's like you go to your favorite restaurant and it says, oh, how was your experience at, you know?
Right.
It's like,
And they lock you up with your internet when you go in there, so you're tied into them, and then they start asking all those questions. The other thing I found out is not only do the cars know where you're going, but it also turns out the most profitable business, second most profitable business in this country, behind selling drugs, which obviously we don't want to do, is stealing cars. So not only that, now the automotive manufacturers, I got to know where all the car thieves go to their restaurants.
Wow.
Here's the deal.
yeah,
very
go
quickly.
ahead. Go ahead, do your
They
deal.
said 1 out of every 170 cars is stolen in the United States. That's something like 1.6 million cars per year. How about that? That's a lot of cars.
That's a lot of cars.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? It's an industry.
Yeah, it is.
You know,
It's
you got
profitable.
the
Maybe
chops.
we should start looking at it as a sideline show. Gosh, never mind. Didn't
No,
say that.
I need
Didn't
to
say
sleep.
that.
I need to sleep at night. I really do. Hey, I got some exciting news.
Okay.
May 2nd, it's a Thursday, okay? Show of hands, everybody. Who watched Leave It to Beaver? Okay? Well, we're going to have Mr. Tony Dow on, and he's going to be talking about his prized Corvair that he sold in, I believe, 1964. And after 50 years, he got reunited with it. So this will
That's
be
a great story.
it's a great story, and talking with Tony, what a car guy, really, really nice. And Ken, thank you, sir. I owe you one. But in the wings, just came up from the trailer from the 9th floor, is Kayla Randing. I knew I'd do that. I know Kayla Rain Dancer, and she's going to be starting a new segment, starting in 2 weeks.
All right.
Okay. And it's called Kayla's in Search of Classic Cars with Zen.
Ooh.
Okay. But she's also here to talk about her new car launch called Quarter Cars. Good afternoon, Kayla. How are you?
Good. How about you?
Very good.
Those
there.
sandwiches were great.
Oh, they were great. Everything was fine.
Everything was good.
The crazy plate jugglers weren't in the way, you know. Sorry we had to team you up with them. See, it's always great to get them laughing, you know.
Yeah.
So, Kayla, first what we're going to do is we're going to talk about Kayla's in Search of Classic Cars with Zen. And you have 13 automobiles on your property out there in Montana.
Yeah.
Tell Dusty and I a little bit about Cars with Zen. Is it like trying to find the perfect Christmas tree and it has to talk to you before you buy it?
It is. Well, first when I started like buying cars, of course, not really knowing what to look at. It's just kind of you kind of get excited, get into it, and then you buy it, and then you're like, maybe like halfway into it, you're like, oh, this is a little much for me. But now I search for certain, like maybe if it's a rare model or if it's unique, how together is it? What's the price on it? Because if I'm going to be paying thousands of dollars for a car, well, it better at least have the engine in it, So
I agree.
look for certain
And
things
the better
like
the
that.
car, the better the story, right?
That's right, yeah.
Exactly.
Now, off the top of your head, can you name all of your all the automobiles that we're going to be talking about? And then when we're done with those, I know there's tons of other cars out by you that we can talk about.
Oh, sure.
But
I'd love to.
let's start it off with the 62 Thunderbird convertible you have. What made that car so special?
Well, I met a lady, and that was her husband's only Ford, actually, that he owned. And it was also original. Like, it had not been cut up, chopped, modified, had the original engine in it, the original carburetor still on the engine. And so that was unique in itself, because up here, a lot of cars I see, they've been modified, the engine's been taken out, and
And
so
that's a pretty
to
car.
me made it original, and the story behind it, how her husband got it from his best friend, which was also his boss, and had stayed in that family for so long. And so it kind of I just draw, I'm also drawn to Fords. I'm a Ford fan, so and the fact that it's a convertible, you
Yep.
know, and the body lines and everything.
Yeah.
So
That's a pretty car.
And you know, the thing is, you have one of my favorite cars. You have a shoebox Ford. Is that a 49 or a 50 that you have?
it's a 49.
What made that so special? Why did you, you know, it's you're driving around the countryside and you just saw it, or did you see something in the
I-
newspaper? Or
I actually got it at an auction, and surprisingly, I wanted to bid on it because I've always liked the two-door sedans, that look.
right?
And nobody bid on it, surprisingly.
wow.
And at the end of the auction, I talked to the owners, really nice people, and I said, you know, what's going to happen to it? He said it might get crushed, and
Oh,
I offered to buy it, and they were really nice, and they sold it to me.
So is this a running car? Or what's the status of it? Does it have a flathead engine in it? What's
no engine in it. The body is straight. The
Mm-hmm.
floorboards is straight. That's also something I look for, is like how bad, or you know,
Uh-huh.
is it all eaten up from the bottom?
Right.
You know,
The floor pans?
it is all straight. It has actually a piece at the back. It's like a tag from the original factory, like where they sold the car
Yeah. Wow.
back in the 49s, is still on it. So I look for stuff like that, kind of like history stuff. I also know a good friend of mine has restored a 49, and so it was kind of like I could, you know, ask him questions, and he would
Sure.
be able to help me on it.
And I love those cars. Are you going to put an engine in it?
Yes, I would like
Okay.
to keep it old school. I'm not
Right.
really into taking just like
Right.
grabbing a Chevy engine. You
Yeah.
know, I want to stick with a Ford and,
Yep.
and put it in there. So.
Well,
Right.
great.
well, Kayla, it's like with all the cars that you have, just to get the ball rolling. You know, you have 13 weeks of Every Car Has a Story. So in each week we'll focus on
Sure.
one car.
Yeah, let's do that.
You know, it's maybe we could start with the shoebox. Maybe we, you know, it's all up to you. But the thing is that I thought it was really important to have Kayla on because there's a lot of women out there that love cars.
Oh, absolutely.
And hopefully Kayla will say that one word of inspiration and get more women on.
Yeah, so that the women will look at a project and not be overwhelmed. There's a wealth of information out there, and any of you folks that have a shoebox Ford 49 or 50, hey, send us an email and give us some recommendations. Pass on to Kayla.
That'd be great. So Kayla, now part 2. Are you ready? This is the bonus round. This is the bonus round. Now we're going to talk about quarter car art. Now, when we first met years ago, I think it's like 6 years ago, you're
It's been that long.
It has been that long. It has been that long. It's and it's the thing is that Kayla's into photography. She's into art, watercolors, which is very difficult. And take it from this old art director there, kids. Watercolors it's a very difficult media. So Kayla started experimenting with cars, and she came up with this unique way of painting a car, but the size of a quarter. And here's a project that can be knocked out real quick. Whereas like when I do a project, it's like a couple weeks. And, you know, this is something that could be done in a matter of a couple of days and that. So Kayla, tell us all about quarter car and who would be in the market for something like this?
Anybody could be in the market for something like that. The reason why I started painting them, not only, you know, because I like cars and I just love art in general, is they're affordable. So instead, if you wanted a painting of your car, you could afford it instead of paying for, like, let's say $500 for this big canvas piece, unless that's something you wanted, you know. But it's affordable. You would be getting an original art piece. It's not a copy.
That's important.
Sure.
You get
Oh,
an
wow.
original. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing is that you know, there's people that now people are into tiny houses. This would be Kayla. Someone could have an art gallery in a tiny house with your art. You know.
Well, I've seen the artwork. It's absolutely beautiful. Now, what would we do? Send you a picture, and then you do the artwork from the picture? Is that how it's done?
Yeah. unless you have, let's say, a car that's not finished, then I would need multiple pictures.
For reference.
Oh, okay.
For
Sure.
reference,
Yeah,
sure.
sure.
Yeah, and a description. So, yeah.
Wow.
That's great. And you got a lot of things going. Vic Piano is going to be promoting your work over at the Cigar City Concours Elegance. That's exciting. And you
Wow.
got other irons
Yes.
in the fire that I'm not at liberty to talk about right now through the FCC regulations of Category 4-993850607802.
You know what I'd like to do? I'd like to have you do the picture of the Cobra.
That'd be
I'll
nice.
get that too. We'll get all the information, get you working on it. I also maybe want to get Joe involved in that one. We'll talk about that in a little while.
We'll make it look
Yeah,
nice.
right.
Just get a lot of silver
Yeah.
watercolor paint.
Oh,
Does
that'd
that
be
exist? Does that exist?
Yes,
So-
that does exist.
So you're in luck.
Oh, wow. That would
You're
be
in
great.
luck. And I have photos that you sent me, so I could send them right over.
Yeah, I got lots of photos. That'd be great. That'd be a great way to start. I
And
love
the,
it.
and you know
That's
the
exciting.
and the great thing, Kayla, is that okay, someone falls in love with your quarter car art, and they have you do a couple of pieces, which believe me, you talk to Kayla, and she'll give you the prices. Even I can afford it, but if you want a now, just correct me if I'm wrong, but if you want a larger piece of artwork, that could be done too.
Oh,
Yes.
wow.
See, there we go.
Sounds like a
So
like a
you can
program.
have something tiny, or you can have something gigantic. You know, it's to me that's I love this quarter car art. It's a lot of fun. It reminds me of Matchbox cars in paint. And the great thing is, like you said, Kayla, it's an original piece of artwork. It's not a print. It's original.
It's an original. I
You
like
know,
that.
you
Love
can
that.
put your nose to
Absolutely.
it, and you can smell the paint. That's what I always like. And that. Well, Kayla, anything else you want to give your group page information on Facebook?
Yeah, you could find me on Instagram and also on Facebook. You could just look up quarter cars, and it should pop right up.
Okay, and if anybody in our listening or viewing area, they have a question to me, hey, you know where to find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, the USO, and everything else. But if you have any questions for Kayla, I'll be more than happy to forward it over to her. So, Kayla, thank you so much. Welcome to the Every Car Has a Story family.
Thank you.
And that.
Thanks, Kayla.
And I just got to ask you a quick question before you go. Is there still snow on the ground out in Montana?
Yes, actually, check the weather. It's supposed to snow.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
And you're going to a car show this weekend, right?
I am.
Where are you
I'm
at liberty
going-
to say?
Yeah, I'm going down to Missoula. I live in Kalispell, and that's more up north of the Flathead Lake. And I'm
Okay.
going down to Missoula, and there's going to be a car show there I've never been to, so this will be the first time.
Well, tell us all about it next week.
Yeah, tell us all about it. Take pictures. We'll put them up for
Yeah.
you, okay?
I sure will.
Okay, Kayla Rain Dancer. Nick, let's have a big round of applause for Kayla Rain Dancer. In Search of Classic Cars with Zen. She'll be back in 2 weeks. So, we're
We
going to
got
be coming
a
up to
time
break.
for Stump Joe question? We
Stump
got
Joe?
time for that?
Sure, we got Stump Joe,
You
yeah.
got time for that?
Yeah,
There we go.
here we go.
All right. You
I can
remember
hardly wait.
You remember the movie Gone in 60 Seconds? Remember we talked about that? We talked about the Eleanor car. We talked about Fireball Roberts making all those cars.
Right,
Remember Fireball? All right,
Sure.
so here's the question. He's shaking his head.
I'm shaking my head.
question
Oh,
is,
for our radio audience, I'm shaking my head
this
saying,
is a
I
true or
have no
fa-
clue what he's talking
this
about.
is
but
a
go ahead.
okay. This is a true or false question.
It's
is
not
it-
on the script.
Is it true that every car that's stolen in the United States is stolen in 60 seconds? True or false?
True.
False.
False.
There's a car stolen in the United States every 30 seconds. So
Every-
they should have called it Gone in 30
In
seconds.
30
Yeah.
seconds. Wow.
Maybe they had a better ring to it, Gone in 60 seconds.
I don't know. You know, I had a car stolen.
Did you really?
Yeah. Oh, this was
You could-
great.
Well, let's give you a great car
Do
story.
I have a time? 5 minutes.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
I had back in 1978. I bought a brand new Chrysler LeBaron,
Oh, did you really?
and it had Corinthian leather.
Corinthian leather. That's a nice car.
You know, but what's a Corinthian?
I don't know.
And I don't know if I
I
really
think
want
they're
to sit
from.
on
I
its
think
leather.
they're from Corinth.
I guess it's like, yes, Joe Pep hunting in the wilds of Africa for Corinthian leather. Ooh, 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 ooh. Ah, ah, ah. Anyway, so it was a great car. I loved it. I loved it. And it was back then, that was considered a mid-size
Yes.
automobile.
Yes.
In today's standards, it's a boat.
It's a big car.
It's a big car,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, yeah.
And it had a V8. This thing would go like a
Oh.
bat out of you know where,
Oh boy.
and a lot of fun. So in 1981, I started experiencing transmission problems. So I took it to my local Chrysler dealership
Yeah.
and left it there. They locked it up in the gate, and that was like a Friday night.
Hmm.
So the phone rings, and my roommate says to me, Joe, the police are on the phone. And I'm like, the police? You know, and now you get this cold streak down your back. Like,
It's like,
what the
what's-
heck did I do? I didn't do anything bad, you know? No, I did pay that bill. Anyway, so come to find out, someone broke into the Chrysler dealership.
Oh wow.
Okay. They could have stolen a brand new Dodge Ram truck,
Oh wow.
but they didn't know how to operate a clutch. So they stole my car. Okay. They used the car as a battering ram to open up the gates.
Oh no.
They looked through the glove box, and of course, there's a baseball player that used to play for the New York Yankees called Joe Pepitone,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
I'm the better looking one with hair.
Yeah.
So anyway, they see my name. They left the car on top of a pitcher's mound at a little league field,
Did they really?
and they knifed all the tires.
Oh
Okay.
no.
Plus, they had a pot party in the car,
Oh no.
right? And the Chrysler dealership said they weren't at fault.
What?
And I said, but you left the keys in the car.
What?
You left it. Yeah. It
I
was like
never heard such
Yep.
a story.
Oh, this is one of these stupid
Oh,
things where they
just
didn't want to
never
get
ends.
involved.
Oh, my
It's like,
gosh.
listen, number one, the car's in your lot. Number
Yeah.
two, you left the keys in the car.
Yeah.
Because what it sounded like was like those old toy cars from the 50s where you would go drag it on the ground. You're,
Yeah.
that's how it sounded. It just
Oh.
didn't sound. So they broke into the car. They busted through the gate.
Oh.
They left the car in the middle of a little league field. And they probably thought, Joe Pepitone,
Good,
see how
leave it
you
there.
feel now, you know? So that was my story. But that,
Well,
bam.
Joe, I hope it turned out for a happy ending. Just such a
Well,
terrible story.
Long story short, Chrysler dealership made good.
Good.
And, but it was like, you know, you don't want to get a call from the police,
No.
you know, at 9 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday.
No.
You know, I mean,
you don't
here I
get a
had
call
my-
from the police anytime.
I mean, here I had my bowl of Frosted Flakes,
Oh, I know it.
you know, a cup of coffee, prune Danish.
Yeah.
Couple
When we
other
come back,
things.
we're going to talk about the Hot Wheels 50th anniversary. Didn't realize it's been 50 years. We were talking about Matchbox cars, so we'll talk about Hot Wheels.
We should get Michael Zarnak
Yeah,
on.
I'm
the-
sure
the
Michael,
king of Hot Wheels.
Give us all the background on it. It's going to be a great story.
Yep, we got great things. We got Jesse Wilde coming up. We have TED Talk, the fourth installment. And then after that, we have the lovely Miss Dinah Shore singing See the USA in the Chevrolet.
One of my favorites.
And so that's for our Facebook Live viewers. For our radio viewers, hey, stay tuned. Come on back. Grab a sandwich and a Pepsi or a Coke or whatever puts a smile on your face. We'll be back. And Ted Odell, he'll be on. He's coming up from the 8th floor dressing room. So it'll be a lot of fun. Stay tuned. You're listening to Every Car Has a Story with Joe Pep and Captain Dusty.
Chevrolet, America is asking you to call. Drive your Chevrolet through the USA. America's the greatest land of all. On a highway or a road along a levee, performance is sweeter, nothing can beat her. Life is completer in a Chevy. So make a date today to see the USA. See it in your Chevrolet.
Traveling east, traveling west, wherever you go, Chevy service is best. Southward or north, near place or far, there's a Chevrolet dealer for your Chevrolet car.
See the USA in your Chevrolet. The Rockies way out west are calling you. Drive your Chevrolet through the USA, where fields of gold and wheat pass and review. Whether traveling light or with a load that's heavy, performance is sweeter, nothing can beat her. Life is completer in a Chevy. So make a date today to see the USA and see it in your Chevrolet.
Hello everybody, this is Ted Odell with the Hackett Auto Museum in Jackson, Michigan, and today I want to share some information with you about this fantastic 1948 Frazer Manhattan. This car was gifted to us by my father, Ted Odell, Sr. of Milan, Michigan, and this is a car that was built at the Willow Run Bomber Plant in 1948. This was the top of the line for Kaiser Frazer products back then. This is called the Manhattan, which means essentially it has a lot of bells and whistles on it. It has a lot of chrome. It comes with the sun visor, there's a spotlight, there's some fancy detailing on the bumpers, and it had also what are called beauty rings around the moon hubcaps. This car has a two-tone interior. It did come with an AM radio, if anyone remembers that. They sold quite a few of them. That was the first car available to the American public following World War II, because the big three were changing over from war production, so they weren't able to produce cars as quickly as Mr. Kaiser was, who was very wealthy and made a ton of money because of the Liberty warships that he was producing during World War II. And you might recognize the name Kaiser because Henry J. Kaiser, who underwrote the financials for this company, went on to create Kaiser Permanente, and today it was known as Kaiser Health, and also Kaiser Aluminum. This specific car has a Continental Flathead 6 motor. It's a four-door and rides like a sofa going down the road. So if you'd like to see this car up close, come visit us at the Hackett Auto Museum in Jackson, Michigan, or visit our website at www.hackettautomuseum.org. Thanks for listening, and we hope to see you soon.
Hey, gotta love that Peter Gunn. Hello, radio audience. Hello, Facebook Live audience. You're listening to Every Car Has a Story. Hi, I'm Joe Pep, host of Every Car Has a Story, and with me is my trusty sidekick.
Love the sunglasses.
You like that? Isn't that it's cool? It's nice to wear sunglasses. The sun has finally come out. It's and you know what? There was a crazy photograph floating around on Facebook. The somebody had taken a photo of Wilmington a day before it rained, just before it rained.
Yeah.
And the sky, everything was green. It had like a green hue.
Huh.
And it's like, no wonder I was feeling like garbage.
I guess
You know?
that stuff was in the air all over the place. Huh?
It was horrible. And then they showed it after the rainstorm, and clear as a bell.
And that's when you started feeling
And
better.
I felt better. It's like all this garbage. It's like you know what we need? We need the cast from Under the Dome to come back and put that big dome over Wilmington. Because
They were great guys.
Oh, it was great. They used to come in your store
yeah,
all
they
the time,
did.
right?
They were wonderful guys. Yeah, absolutely.
Under the dome there. So we have.
Well, we were talking very briefly about the Hot Wheels 50th anniversary. We'll
Yes.
talk about that for a few minutes, and we'll move ahead. Evidently, Hot Wheels down in Miami, this is their 50th anniversary. They're going to have the Hot Wheels Legend Tour. Now, that sounds like a lot of fun. It'll be 17 other cities besides Miami, and they're going to have a car show sponsored by the Hot Wheel guys on each one of these cities. And the winner of each one of these shows will be invited to SEMA. That's in November of 2019.
Yep.
And maybe we'll be there. We're hoping. And the car chosen from all these 17 different shows, the winner will be chosen. Will have a Hot Wheel replica made from the winning car. Isn't that a great idea?
We got to get Michael Zarnak.
That's a great. Yeah, we do.
We
We
got-
need to find out more about that.
Anybody that's pals with Michael Zarnak on Facebook, tell him to give me a call, because it's he knows the skinny on everything that's going on with Hot Wheels.
Yeah.
And
So
he
we
is,
gotta find
you know
out
what his
where this-
middle name
yeah.
is?
No,
Mr. Hot Wheels.
Mr.
He is Mr. Hot Wheels, and this guy's two-time Guinness World Book holder of Hot Wheels. Okay, he's also been in Ripley's Believe It or Not,
Wow.
and he works with Diecast magazine, and he's a big kid, but he's a great guy. So maybe we can get him to call in 2 weeks.
So I guess we're looking at the mid-1960s when Hot Wheels. I'm going back 50 years ago, Joe.
When you were in the service, they were coming out.
Yeah. Well, that was
68,
68, 69. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe Jesse, who's at
Yeah.
Schwab's Pharmacy, he could pick up a couple of Hot Wheels in
Because
the rack.
everybody had their favorite Hot Wheels cars, I remember. I mean, there were a lot to choose from, but it was like the girls had Barbie dolls and the guys had Hot Wheels, right?
Yes.
And then you had your favorite.
But then there were girls that had Hot Wheels too. So, it's
all right.
like.
I don't met many guys that had Barbie dolls, so it didn't run across too many of those shows.
Now
Maybe they're
in
out there. Maybe I
sports,
wish- I
Joe
don't know.
Catanacci with sports. Nick, do you have Hot Wheels? No Hot
No.
Wheels? No? Connie, do you have Hot Wheels? You had Hot See?
She had Hot Wheels?
See,
Wow.
Bill, you got to get out
I
of
missed
this
it.
this 19 things
Oh,
like,
mine-
well, girls play with dolls and
No, I tell you what.
boys play with
I
cars.
grew up in the 50s, and they gave me a piece of coal that I had to figure out what to do with.
Dusty
Whoa,
was
wow.
born. Dusty was born in the
this is
1850s. Do you remember in the Battle of Wilmington here when you were stuffing the cannonball
Yeah.
in the cannon
Yeah.
during the battle?
It was not easy.
It was the last battle of the Civil War.
Yep.
Dusty was
It wasn't
nervous,
easy, and we lost.
and we lost. Well, anyway. So, next on sports. But anyway, we have Jesse. He's at Schwab's Pharmacy right now. And how are you doing there, Jesse?
Well, good afternoon, Joe and Dusty. How
Afternoon.
is everybody besides wearing your sunglasses? That's great. We
You
are
like
too.
that?
Yes.
I like
Yeah,
that.
we
It's
are wearing ours.
See, I guess you can call me Joe Hollywood, or Joe Wilmington. Probably Joe Wilmington. But anyway,
And I think Joe Camel.
Joe Camp. But
Now,
I'll
how about
Yeah.
Joe Cool?
Joe
Joe
Cool.
Cool. Yeah.
Thank you, Jesse.
Yeah,
So
you're welcome.
I just
Yeah.
want to tell our radio audience, Jesse, he's actor on the HBO series Deadwood. He's also cast member of Angel's Garage, which is in filming production on MSNBC. NBCSN. That's it. I got that. Teeth are getting loose. So, what's going on in the wild world of television production and fixing cars?
Well, we are working real hard in the filming area. I'll tell you, we're getting that Ranchero, the '76 Ranchero, finished up, and it is beautiful. It's getting really, really nice. And we are also preparing our new intro for the series. It's an intro similar to the first season where you see the three of us doing different things. And this one's going to be really, really good because we're going to be using the Ranchero in the intro. And, of course, Uncle Jesse will be there somewhere. And there's some surprises on how we're going to do it.
Excellent.
And that's what really is exciting.
Well, if you need me to sing.
It's going to be real good.
Here, how's this? Here, can I do an audition? Ranchero. Wonderful
Ranchero. That's great. We'll call you.
Oh, thank you. Damn.
He's evidently been to a few casting calls.
Moving right along. Yes, I have.
Well, you know, we're looking, Dusty and I, we're looking forward to hearing all about it and seeing it. And I know Angela's going to be calling me pretty soon, but, you know, just getting everything all ironed out so that we can have our own trailer on lot studio number 3040221338. But so when you do your show and that, it's are you there for the whole day, or do they block you saying, okay, Jesse, come on in, we need you to hold a wrench or a blowtorch, or what goes on there?
Well, for me, I'm not there the whole time, actually, because I'm not really working on the vehicles, whichever one it might be, unless I'm in there for a reason where I might come in with, Uncle Jesse suggestions, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Got it.
And, well, and sometimes I'll bring up maybe a situation where, did you know, back in the day, did you know I did this? And, well, you know, it's, my mind sometimes wanders, and you'll see it on this show.
You don't want to. Well, Jesse, as always, thank you so much. And if we can have a round of applause for Jesse there, and we'll see you in 2 weeks because I'll be on vacation next week, okay? And
all right.
It'll be great there. Jesse Wild, cast member of Angel's Garage on NBCSN, and his little dog Mindy. And coming up is the ever-lovable Ted Odell of the Hackett Auto Museum in Jackson, Michigan. And I talk with Ted, I would say, every other week. A great guy to chew the fat with, bounce off ideas. And, you know, it's Ted will always say to me, hey, that was a good idea. I'll have to remember that. And I could just see him on the other end. Yeah, sure, next. Anyway, no, but Ted is really, really great. And we're going to be talking about the progress that he's making.
Yep.
And the people that are putting this all together to get the construction going.
Sure.
And it's just going to be fantastic. So do we have Ted on the phone yet? Oh, you're calling right now.
Well, you know, what we might want to tell him is, you know, Eddie's looking for cars for a movie, so we'll pass that on to him.
Sure.
You know, get some movie cars down there.
Well, up there. They're in Michigan.
Yeah. We'll have them come down here for bringing the movie cars down.
Oh.
Yeah.
Right. But they don't have movie cars. They have a car called like the Hackett and the Arco. These are cars that they made only a couple of.
They don't have cars from the 20s and 30s?
No, doesn't go that far.
They don't go that far.
No.
Huh?
Ted can tell you everything.
Yeah,
Ted can tell you
that,
the complete inventory. Plus, Ted has some great cars, which you saw on his father's car.
Yeah, right there, yeah.
You know, and he's hiding that one, the one that's father's Kaiser. It's like, dang, I wish I had that one.
That's a great story.
Beautiful car.
Yeah. The Kaisers came out. They kind of beat the rest of the group into production right after the Second World War, and they were great cars. They had padded dashboards. They had safety features. I think they were kind of copying some of the Tucker stuff. But great cars, sold very, very well until the big three finally got geared up and came on, and that was it. They only lasted about 5-6 years. That was it.
Well, here's the guy that knows everything about putting together a museum by scratch, Mr. Ted Adell. Hi, Ted. How are you?
I'm good, Joe. How are you and Dusty?
We're doing fantabulous. So tell Dusty the cars, first of all, that were made at your soon-to-be museum.
Oh, my gosh. I would love to. It starts with the first made Jackson automobile, spelled Jaxon. That was a steam car.
Okay.
Then they made the Jackson car, spelled just like the city. That was a gasoline car. And then they started to make a car there called the Standard Electric, which was from 1912 to 1915. And then they made the first Briscoe car there, which is interesting because Benjamin Briscoe was the third largest producer of automobiles in the country behind Henry Ford and General Motors at the time.
Wow.
And then they went on to build an Argo and then ultimately the Hackett, which is what we chose to name the museum after.
Wow, that's quite a history.
And what's really great is that, like with me, I'm a big fan of early 20th century cars, or as they would call brass era. And these cars were made up until what, the First World War, give or take?
Yeah, a little bit longer than that. Most of the cars in Jackson, in which there were 33 in total, from about 1897 until about 1924, with the exception of the Briscoe, they were all out of business. And then the absolute last vehicle, which you guys probably remember this, the 1954 Kaiser Darren, which was a sports car, came out.
Very collectible. They actually made those there.
Yeah.
Really?
The Kaiser Darren had the sliding doors. Sports car. Yeah, two-seat sports. Beautiful design.
They made those cars there. Wow.
I didn't know that.
So, Ted, let's I think I was so excited about hearing about all the cars. For our radio audience and for our Facebook Live audience and YouTube, this is the first time hearing your interview. Tell us about how this all got started, getting the museum. Let's start from scratch. The floor is yours.
Okay. Thank you. Well, I was actually looking for a place to put all my toys. My car collection, my gas pumps, fire hydrants, neon signs, all the stuff that car people collect. And the way it actually started is that my 81-year-old father gave me a call and said, your mother and I are selling the house. We're downsizing to a condo. You have to come get all your stuff out of the pole barn. So that's what really started it.
Wow.
And I was
the threat from the parent.
Yeah, that call's going to come anytime to my kids.
Hey, I got away with it for 50 years.
Right. So you find this piece of property in Jackson, and then lo and behold, you find out that they made automobiles there, right?
Yeah. Actually, at the closing with the real estate person who sold us the building, he said to me, they made some kind of old car there or something. I really don't know anything about it. Well, of course, I perked up immediately and then started to do some research, and over the course of several weeks, discovered the incredible historic value of this building because it was on the cutting edge of automotive technology. During the early years of the automobile industry here, and not only in Michigan but in the United States.
Yes.
And from everything we've been able to research and read, the reason originally Jackson was known as America's original car capital, but the industry shifted to Detroit, Michigan, and that was primarily because of Henry Ford, because he was making so many Model Ts so quickly. He needed bodies. He needed people to work in the factories. And at that point, Detroit was nearly 1 million people, but in the small town of Jackson, it was somewhere around 40,000. So it just made sense that it would shift to Detroit, along with the Detroit River there, so you could ship raw materials in and out, and, of course, finished products as well.
Sure.
Just amazing. Now, so now you buy the building. And now gears are being shifted as to being a garage for your toys to a a learning center, a museum, and
Right.
and of course, you know everybody, even God out there. So so you got all your superhero friends together, and then what?
Well, we decided to shift from basically Ted Man Cave to let's call it the Hackett Auto Museum. Open it up, show off all of our collectibles, and also let's turn it into an event venue, because that's a big business, and people are looking for unique venues to host offsite corporate meetings or club meetings or wedding receptions, that type of thing. And it's taken off from there. And I have to tell you guys, one reason why I love your show so much is because it's a testament to the power of the internet and social media today. Because since I've started this museum project, you know, most museums talk about one make or mark, like the Oldsmobile Museum or the Studebaker Museum or the Auburn Core Duesenberg Museum, that type of thing. So you're dealing with companies where you can contact the children and sometimes the actual men or women who designed and created these automobiles.
Sure.
In the case of the Hackett Auto Museum, I'm dealing with great-grandchildren and great-nieces and nephews. And because of the power of the internet and the power of your show, I've been able to connect with relatives of Benjamin and Frank Briscoe, relatives of Byron J. Carter, who invented the Jackson car, and of course the Carter car. I've been able to connect with the great nephew of Fred Guy, who invented the Guy rotary valve sleeve motor way back in the 20s. And it's just been an absolute roller coaster and a blast. I'm having a ball.
Wow. Yeah. Well, Ted, it's any way to help you out. You know, it's the thing is that museums, it's a family event. You know, bring the kids, bring the family, get together.
Well, it's not only that. I think that the modern mindset is that, boy, we're the smartest generation. We made all these incredible inventions. Well, come to find out, rotary engines, very sophisticated supercharged engines, carburetors, things that made us where we are today were designed turn of the century, before World War I, and they're all historically brought out in museums like yours, which is just fantastic.
Well, you know, one of the things, this is something that you don't know.
Yep.
Okay, Ted, I'm going to say the name of this lovely singer, and you tell Dusty and our audience what it's all about. Miss Barbra Streisand.
Oh, absolutely. When I got into the museum business, I never thought it would cross paths with Barbra Streisand. Among the wonderful people who have reached out to me over the last year and a half or so, I received a phone call one day from a guy who collects, get this, street cars, you know, like real street cars.
Yeah,
Their grandparents, the parents would have ridden on in the, you know, back in the day.
Trolley cars.
Love
them.
Trolley cars, yeah. This guy calls me up and says, hey, I have something I think you might be interested in. And I said, well, what is it? He said, I have a horse-drawn streetcar from 1890. I said, well, that's kind of interesting. You know, I could use it to help tell the story of transportation in Jackson, Michigan. And he goes, but wait, it's not just any streetcar. It's one of 3 that are left. And this specific streetcar was in the movie Hello, Dolly with Barbra Streisand.
That's amazing. That's just amazing.
Great.
Wow.
I'm no singer, but I'm smart enough to know
wait a minute.
Deal when I see it.
Wait a minute, Ted. Here, this is Judy Garland. Clang, 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 goes that trolley. Okay, I'm not even.
If you grew up in a time where you didn't get a chance to ride in a streetcar, you really missed an adventure. They were great. They would come to the corner. They would take it. They were easy to get on, easy to get off. They were fun to ride on.
Yep. And you know what?
Now people spend thousands of dollars to go to San Francisco to see what it's like.
Well, you know, Ted, you can come here to Wilmington. We have a bus that looks like a trolley car. Wah, wah.
Yes.
But, you know, I mean, it's free.
It's
cute, but it's not the same.
Not the
you know,
same.
getting your foot stuck in the trolley car track while the trolley's coming down the street and little Biff the dog's barking, you know. It's like, what's going to happen with Timmy?
That was half the fun.
But so what other exciting things? It's like, has all the permits been pulled? Everything's started for reconstruction and.
In fact, yes, I was talking with my architect earlier today, And it looks like we are ready to go, and we can start brick and mortar repairs on the building next week, which will be immediately followed by roofing repairs, and then we'll button up the building, and then the next step is to have all of the original 52 windows in the building restored. So we will be open by the end of this year, with a grand opening slated for May of 2020, which coincides with the birthday of Mr. Mansell Hackett.
Wow.
So the museum is named after.
Let's do this.
So,
if you would like to be a patron of the Hackett Museum, to do some history of American motoring in America, how do you get in touch with you? What do we have to do to find a patron to support this wonderful museum?
The best way to support us is to go to our Facebook page or our website, which is simply HackettAutomuseum.org, and there's a donate button right there on the webpage.
That's fantastic. And you know, the thing is, it's important because it's like if you don't have the museums, you're seeing these automobiles that, okay, yeah, you can go to a car show and it's great. And I support car shows. Yeah. I love concourse events. But museums, you know, to me, it was always a lot of fun. You know, you like on a Sunday afternoon, you go to a museum. It's family time.
And you learn a lot.
And you learn a lot.
Oh,
and then
absolutely.
You may see Ted smoking his pipe in the distance, you know.
Get the kids from watching video games. Get them out there to see real cars, real things. Get them creative. Bring out the engineering spirit in these guys. Get them off the couch.
And that. So, Ted, we have like 3 minutes left. So let's see, -1 for saying goodbye. But anything that's coming up for the month of May that you would like to tell our audience so they can...
In fact, we are going... Yes, we will be hosting a hard hat tour of our building on May 11th. That coincides with the Jackson County Museum Day. And that's a free event from noon until 4. So if you want to come in and take a look at an old warehouse that's being restored, we'd love to give you the nickel tour. And then later this year, Friday, September 13th, and also Saturday, September 21st, which happens to be National Ghost Hunting Day. Oh. We will be hosting 2 more ghost hunts in our building later this year, which we're pretty excited about.
That is a big thing. They got ghost tours down here in Wilmington. Oh. And but that is a terrific idea. Well, Ted. Now I got to guess one more question. Do we have a installment of number 5 of with Ted? Time with Ted coming up for in 2 weeks, or is the 4th?
Yes, 2 minutes with Ted. Yeah, we have 3 more in the can, as they say in the business, and those are in final edit and post production right now. We'll be sending those out within the next 2 weeks.
Okay, well, you know where to send them.
Which has been a great marketing tool.
You know where to send them, my friend. Ted Adell, Hackett Auto Museum in Jackson, Michigan. Yeah, that's in the United States, yes. Dusty.
I've been there.
And I bet you have. So this is something. Follow the adventures with Ted on his Facebook page. And it's just a lot of fun. Car guys, you like Brass Era? Hackett Auto Museum got some really great cars. And Ted's got a great Model T, a 23 Model T, which he says he's going to let me have for my birthday. Oh. Then I heard the alarm clock go off, and it was a dream. But anyway, Ted, thank you so much. A big hand for Ted Adell.
Thank you, guys. It's a joy talking to you.
Anytime. Ted is a great guy, and it's so glad to be on the ground floor.
Well, you know, it's the dedication, the time, the imagination. And you just don't wake up in the morning and say, "Gee, I'm going to do this." This is absolutely tremendous.
No, and I hear our music in the background. So, have a great week. I'll see you in 2 weeks, kids. Uncle Joe Pep needs a rest, so I'm on vacation next week.
So we'll have a best of
the best of, and it'll be a surprise. So this is Joe Pep.
And Dusty.
And you're listening to Every Car Has a Story. See you in 2 weeks.